Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you're all doing well. Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking. I appreciate you guys so much. God bless you. So let us jump right into today's message, and we're going to talk about anger today. Yes, anger. So what is the definition of anger? Let us just jump right into that. So anger is a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. It's a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. I want to just preface this by saying that anger is a natural emotion. Anger is an emotion that we are all going to feel at some point in our lives. We've all felt anger. As babies, we felt anger. As adults, we felt anger. So that is, an emotion that we are going to feel. It could be on a small scale, which is, like a little annoyance, like, a little frustration about something, right? Maybe you stained your outfit. That could be frustrating, so that is anger on a small scale. Or it could be rage, which is anger on a really big scale, right? And so I just want to, preface this message by saying that anger is an emotion that we're all going to feel, that we all feel at different levels. But it is not about, just like with many things, it's not just about that emotion. It's about what you do with that emotion. That is what we're going to be looking at today. It's not just about the anger, but what do you do with the anger that you feel inside of you? And to help us with that, I want us to look at I want us to look at Numbers 20. So that is the story of Moses and the children of Israel. Moses has taken the children of Israel out of Egypt, and they've been walking the wilderness and, going through all of these things together. And the children of Israel have been complaining, and then God answers them, and then they are happy, and then afterwards they complain again. So it's just like that cycle of complaining and being happy and complaining and being happy. So now here in Numbers 20, then the children of Israel, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people stayed in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. Now, there was no water for the congregation, so they gathered together against Moses and Aaron, and the people contended with Moses and spoke, saying, "If only we had died when our brethren died before the Lord. Why have you brought up the assembly of the Lord into the wilderness, that we and our animals should die here? And why have you made us come out of Egypt to bring us to this evil place? It is not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, nor is there any water to drink." So complaining, right? So Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and they fell on their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Take the rod," that's the instruction, "take the rod, you and your brother Aaron, gather the congregation together, speak to the rock before their eyes." God said, "Speak, and it will yield its water. Thus you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation and their animals." So Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock. And he said to them, "Hear now, you rebels, must we bring water for you out of this rock?" Then Moses lifted his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation and the animals drank. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not believe me to hallow me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land which I've given them." So here's the thing. God told Moses, speak to the rock. Moses comes out because these people have complained so much, because these people have annoyed him so much. He's so frustrated with these people, he calls them rebels. And so in his anger, what does he do? Instead of speaking to the rock, he hits the rock 2 times. God had commanded him specifically to speak to the rock. But out of his anger, he decided to hit the rock instead. And because of that, the consequence is that something that he had been working for, something that he had been looking forward to, which was going into the promised land, it is denied him. God says, because you did not obey me, because you disobeyed me, you are not going to enter the promised land again. Now let's look at this from our perspective. How many times have we been so angry that we hit somebody with our words? Sometimes you do not have to go physical. Yes, some people do go physical when they get angry. They would hit another person when they are angry. They would get physical. They would fight people when they are angry. But other people, they would beat you with their words. They would say things that they know will hurt you to your core. Because when you're angry, there is that sense of power that you feel. There is that sense of superiority over another person that you feel. And because of that, you want to do things and say things that are going to hurt the other person. And that is something that in so many cases has ruined relationships. That is something that in so many situations has caused a rift, has caused friction in relationships. Because once those words come out, there is no way you're going to be able to take them back. Once those words have been uttered, there is no way that you're going to be able to, cause the other person to unhear them, because they are out there already. And so, like I said from the beginning, it's not about the anger. It's about what you do with the anger. The Bible tells us in Ephesians that in your anger, do not sin. In Ephesians 4:26, in your anger, do not sin. Do not allow, I'm paraphrasing here, do not allow the sun to go down while you are still angry. So the Bible acknowledges the fact that we can get angry, but when you do get angry, do not sin. Do not allow your anger to cause you to sin. Whether it is you saying things that are going to hurt another person or you doing things that are going to hurt another person, do not allow your anger to cause you to sin. Now look at this. Moses and Aaron were the leaders. God did not stop the Israelites from entering the promised land. They were the ones complaining. They were the ones, saying all these negative things. They were the ones, that caused Moses to get angry. But God did not stop them from entering the promised land. Instead, he stopped Moses and Aaron from entering the promised land. That is because they were the leaders. To whom much is given, much is expected. So in our case as Christians, much has been given to us, and so much is expected of us. It is not because those around you, it's not because somebody around you wants to engage in a fighting match that you're also going to engage in that fighting match. It's not because somebody around you wants to go back and forth or wants to throw punches that you're also going to start throwing punches. To whom much is given, much is expected. That is why self-control is one of the fruit of the Spirit. Because we're expected to have self-control. We're expected to have our emotions under control and not allow those emotions to dominate us, to rule over us. The interesting thing is that anger is not a primary emotion. Anger is a secondary emotion. Anger comes as a result of primary emotions. And what are some of those primary emotions? Fear, loss, sadness. Have you seen a situation where a baby is crying? The baby is hungry, so it's crying. It starts with, okay, I'm hungry, I need food, I'm sad. And so the baby cries and cries and cries. When nobody attends to the baby, what happens? The crying, the sadness turns to anger. The underlying situation, the underlying cause there is sadness. The underlying feeling there, the primary feeling is sadness. But because nobody has attended to that baby, that sadness turns to anger. And so when we get angry, when we find ourselves getting so irritated, so enraged by somebody or by a situation, what we should do is stop. Stop. I know that it is difficult. I know that in that moment, what we want to do is to react. But if we are going to walk this Christian walk, if we're going to be decent humans, if we're going to be decent Christians, sometimes we have to do the difficult work. All the time, actually, we have to do the difficult work. So when that feeling of anger is beginning to want to take over you, stop and try to identify where that feeling is coming from, and try to identify what is causing that anger. So imagine, for example, that you are in a relationship with somebody and they do not call you, or they say they're going to do something and they do not do it, and so you become angry. What is the primary cause of that anger? It could be fear. It could be fear. It could be the fear of losing that person. It could be the fear of not being appreciated enough. It could be the fear of not being needed enough. It could be the fear of not being thought of enough. It could be the fear of being taken advantage of. It could be the fear of so many things. And because of that primary feeling, because of that primary emotion of fear, what happens? It comes out as anger. But then if you stopped to try to identify what is causing this anger in this moment, you'll be able to realize, hold on, it is the fear of something, or hold on, it's sadness that is causing this, or hold on, it is because of loss, or hold on. So once you do that, it gives you the opportunity to rethink. It gives you the opportunity to calm down, and then give yourself space, give yourself permission to calm down, so that when you eventually open your mouth to speak, you are not just speaking out of angry emotions. You're speaking out of a place of calm, out of a place of logic, because sometimes when we're angry, we can become illogical. And so it's important to be able to identify what that primary feeling is, so that you're able to eventually, because the goal eventually is to find healing, is to find wholeness, is to be able to have control over that emotion. Again, it does not mean that you're not going to get angry. Anger is a part of the emotions that we're going to feel at different times. But I want us to be able to work on that emotion, work on how we allow for that emotion to come across or to manifest. We do not want anger taking over our lives. We do not want anger ruling over us. We do not want anger consuming us. We want to be able to have control, to have self-dominion. And so that is why it's important that we identify it. And once we have done that, we're able to go to the root cause, so that whenever we feel that emotion, we're able to identify, okay, this is what is happening in this moment. And then also think about the long-term effects. What are the long-term effects of me reacting in XYZ way? What are the long-term effects on my relationship if I react in XYZ way? Is there something that I can do differently? Is there a different way that I can respond? And at the end of the day, let us deal with each other with kindness and with love. If you know that you're the type of person that has the tendency to want to deliberately hurt people with your words, don't. If you're the type of person that knows that you just lose it whenever somebody says something, or because you know there are some people that will really, really, really push your buttons. There are some people that will really push your buttons. And if you find yourself in that situation with that type of a person, sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, time out. You can step away from that situation. You can step away from that conversation and come back when you feel better, and come back when you feel more composed, and come back when you feel that you can be able to have a conversation that is not a yelling match. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, but it is worth it, because at the end of the day, you'll be able to have more fulfilling relationships. At the end of the day, your health is going to benefit, because think about it. If you're constantly angry, if you're constantly, lashing out, if you're constantly enraged, you're going to have health problems. There's high blood pressure. There are headaches that you can have. There's so much heart problems that you can have. It comes with consequences. So if not for the sake of the other person, do it for your own sake. Do it for your own health. Because you stand to benefit from not being that person that is constantly angry. And even if you are not expressing the anger outwardly, even if you're internalizing the anger, that is still something you need to work on, because at some point in time, that anger is going to bubble out. That anger is going to burst out. So it is about us working on the root cause of the anger, so that once you've worked on that root cause, you're able to know what the problem is, so that you're able to control it better, as opposed to having it control your life. Again, to whom much is given, much is expected. Much is expected of you, much is expected of me. So let us control our anger, and let's not allow it to control us. Amen. Oh, and by the way, Jesus got angry as well. He got angry for a very good cause, against the people that were turning his father's house into a place of business. He got angry. So yes, that goes again to say that anger is a very, very normal emotion, but again, it is not an emotion that should control us. Let's work on it. Okay. All right, guys, that's the end of my message. I pray that it blessed you. If it did, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting, and I'll talk to you in my next video, God willing. All right.